Yeah, you better believe coffee is going to be on the bartering list. Oh, that's just good stuff. All right, guys, welcome back to Survival Living here. So today I've got a very in-depth, comprehensive bartering item list. Now, this is stuff that we keep on hand. As preppers, you shouldn't have to rely on bartering to survive, in my opinion, but it is a good advice and strategy to have things on hand in case you left a hole and you need it. All right, in an emergency situation, you might need to trade something to get what you need to sustain your life or your family's life. Now, what we have here looks like a junk pile. That's because I was trying to put everything up here. All kind of different things. We have everything from vices to life-sustaining equipment to luxury items. All right, financial, things like that. This stuff here, guys, in my opinion, is the list of bartering items. And like I said, as preppers, we should be able to survive without having to barter, but you might need to. All right. One thing about survival is just not going through life barely making it through. My opinion, I think we all need to be also working on thriving during SHTF, full-blown SHTF events. Now, during a natural disaster, you should just have enough things to secure yourself and secure your family. But during a full-blown SHTF event, economic crash, civil unrest, major civil unrest, going to civil conflict type of things, basically no government. You need to be thriving, not just barely getting by. Now, when it comes to bartering items, guys, please make sure that you have security details in place, because what's going to keep the other person from just robbing you? And where are you going to go to barter? Very big questions. All right, my opinion, do not barter outside your home. I would travel. I would set up and travel to barter. Once commerce starts rebuilding, and there will be commerce during SHTF events, because people need things, and there's going to be a lot of people trying to take advantage of others. That's where your bartering items come in. You might be able to get hold of a water pump or a well pump or medical equipment, something that you don't have, someone else might. Then they'll set up a central hub, in my belief. Now, the reason I say this is because I've seen it throughout history that they've done bartering, bazaars, things like that, to offset disaster when things are not set up. And you can look at the black market itself. There's always whatever you need, there it is. The black market is not only just a lot of filth and horrible things. There's actually things that governments have deemed illegal or priced out of the range of the common folk, and the black market has stepped in and made it available. I'll let you do your own moral compass on that, whether a black market is a good thing or a bad thing. My opinion, if it's available and I need it, I'm going to do my best to go get it. No, that's up to me and up to you. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into our list right here. Now, before we get into everything, I'm going to go ahead and tackle the big one, gold and silver. I know you cannot eat gold and silver, but gold and silver has always throughout history moved. It has had purchasing power for anything. Throughout history, I'm basing everything off of my preparedness level through history, current events, things of that nature, and that's what we are duplicating and preparing for. Because if you're like me, and I'm not a history buff, but I love reading up on history, history repeats itself. Always has. Governments have failed. They have always failed. There's not been a single centralized government that has ever made it from the beginning of time to the end of time, to today's society. They've always fallen. Gold and silver. All right. Now, when it comes to silver, and I do like silver, 1 ounce rounds, 1 ounce bars are great. We have the larger ones, 10 ounces, things like that. The 10 ounce bars is not something we're going to be doing much bartering with unless there's a large ticket item. 1 ounces, these gram size Valcambi bars, they break down, little tiny pieces. Great idea. Jewelry. Jewelry is another great idea. We have what is known as junk silver. That is constitutional rounds, $50, quarters, dimes, Mercury head dimes. There's also Franklin's. This is 90% silver in that. All right. I will tell you this much, constitutional rounds have went through the roof. But if you're like me, you have to start somewhere, and silver is the best bet to start. Gold and silver is not going to make you rich in today's society, so please do not become an investor and think that's what's going to happen. It is a transference of wealth. Case in point, when the shutdown happened during the scandemic, many of us lost our jobs. We lost our jobs. I wasn't making much here on YouTube. I was able to take a large portion of my silver, and I had purchased them like at $15 an ounce at the time. It's what my investment was into silver. And I was nearly able to double the value, the resale of my silver at my local coin and bullion shop to pay my bills. To me, that's an investment. Not for flipping and increasing profits, but no matter what, I knew my value was always going to be here. So silver is an option. Gold is another. Gold, guys, I've seen the 1 ounce bars. I don't have 1 ounce rounds or bars. They are priced out of my expertise, my availability. These are smaller gram size bars. This is a 2.5, little tiny. If you're looking for gold and silver for bartering purposes, SHTF, I recommend the smaller. This is, like I said, 2.5 gram. This is like a 1/100th of a gram of an ounce. I would recommend breaking this down, because I'd rather trade something small for something small than a whole 1 ounce for the same item. But that's up to me. A lot of people would argue with me, whatever. But I want to get gold and silver out of the way. Next up, we have what are known as vices. Well, that's what people call them. I don't. I like to have a drink every once in a while. I like to have my coffee. I enjoy having dip, and yes, I enjoy having cigarettes. So these, what they call vices, these are things that people crave in stressful situations. Cigarette, dip, alcohol, caffeine. These are known as vices. We stock up on it mainly because I use them. Vodka is one of the cheap ones. That's why we stock that one up. I'm not much of a vodka drinker. I like other things. But anyway, it's a cheap one. So we stock that up because I know a lot of people might need a drink, especially during full-blown SHTF. Bartering items, you can trade this stuff. You can trade it now. In today's society, I've seen the comments, well, no one will be after that if their house burned down. I've been through a house fire, and I know people who have. I know for a fact that even in today, people will trade a lot for these particular items. Now, what ones you want to get, that's up to you. Kayak's a very cheap one down here. 305 is a cheap one. That's actually one that we smoke, mainly because it's cheap. I like getting the instant coffee for bartering because it lasts freaking nearly forever. As long as it's sealed up, it lasts a very long time. And of course, alcohol as well. I will say this much about alcohol. If you can get it in the glass, it'd be better, because the plastic actually sweats over time, and it'll actually drop over long time storage. So something you should think about. Okay, so this next one I'm iffy on. I see the pros and a lot of cons on this. Food. My recommendation is to stock up a lot of food for you and your family. But what if you started putting food back for trade purposes later? You know what? That's not a bad idea, but I also don't want to get labeled as the guy in an event that there's no food, but that guy, he's got food. Yeah, you'll have some business, some trade, but what's going to happen, in my opinion, is that people are going to figure out and do their best to find out where you live, where you have your supplies. So food's an iffy one. But rice, I mean, guys, rice, 20-pound bag of rice under 20 bucks. You can break that down so easy, and it can move. That could feed a lot of people, all right, during a SHTF event. But food is one of those issues, guys, that I'm just really not comfortable dealing with. But it is an option. All right, so next up we have services, kind of. We have a water filter. This is a Sawyer. This is Sawyer Mini, 20 bucks. We have fuel, Coleman fuel burner. These items easily tradable. We have a solar generator back here. All these items can be traded, or these items can be used as service, being a way of cooking food, filtering out water, providing power to power up tools, things like that. Those things can actually be used as a service. You can actually turn that around. You're the only person with power, so you can actually power things up for other people. You're the only person with water filtration. I would recommend getting a bigger water filtration system if you're planning on doing that. Fuel, you're going to open up a hot meal place, whatever, during SHTF. Again, all these things, before you start bartering services, you know, items, security. You've got to have a team. You can't do this by yourself, because people see what you got, and I've seen the meanness in the world. They will just take what you have. And I know. I see the comment, well, all they'll get is a belly full of lead. They're not going to do it unarmed, and they're not going to do it alone. Apparently, you've never been around anything bad in your life, because every time I've ever had to deal with the scum of society, criminals, and I am a former criminal, I did prison time, they don't come at you one-on-one. They'll distract you with one while the other two hit you from the blind spot. This is why you need a security detail. I love reading the comments, well, you don't know what I'm capable of. You're not Bruce Lee. Now I'm going to go ahead and call it. You're not. You're not Rambo. You're living in a fantasy world mainly because you have never had a physical altercation with anybody other than maybe some bit smack or something like that. That's not fighting. Fighting is when you can barely get off the ground because they've just been beating the crap out of you. They actually think you're dead because you stopped moving. That's fighting. And that's exactly what's going to happen during SHTF. They're just not going to sit there and raise a little cane, hoop and holler and push people around. No, they will kill you for your supplies. So make sure you have security. Pardon. I get a little heated. Coffee. Keeps everybody safe around me. All right, next up, flashlights. Rechargeable flashlights. I want to get you guys to really think about this. Rechargeable flashlights, and you're the only place around with a power station. You just open up your own business service because you're the only person that can charge it up for them. Things of that nature. Or you can just trade off flashlights, cheap ones, whatever. It's up to you. Flashlights is a big thing, especially during a grid down scenario. You know, I went with a solar generator on this. This is a very, you know, it's like a 600, 700 watt one. We use it all the time here. It works great. We use it on power tools and everything else. It works awesome. Next up is medical equipment. I don't know if you guys have ever had a toothache, a busted tooth, something go bad. There's not going to be any dentists around. Orajel, or even the knockoff Orajel, worth its weight in gold. In my opinion, yeah. I still have some dental work I'm getting done because I had my face kicked in years ago. Yeah, correction officer. But anyway, Orajel I stock up on until I get that jawline and those teeth fixed. I rely on this right now. So yeah, I stock it up, and I know what it's like when you don't have anything to numb that pain and you got a fractured jaw that just did not heal right. Yeah, Orajel, great to have. Medical equipment. Now, whether you're going to be giving out or trading actual IFAK kits, or you're going to break it down and trade particular items, that's up to you. But medical is a very big thing. That is a very sought after bartering item. Look at third world countries. Medical equipment is very sought after. So these are just some ideas for you. You do whatever you want to. I just show you what we do. And throughout history, bartering has always been a thing. It doesn't hurt to put items back, but I don't want you to rely on nothing but bartering items as your preps. Get food put back, get water put back, get water filtration put back, get medical, get defensive tools. You notice I did not say defensive tools this video. I'm not comfortable arming an individual that I don't know. I'm uncomfortable giving them ammunition because now they know. I just don't want to arm the enemy or a potential enemy later. All right, guys, just my thoughts. Y'all have a great day. Speak to y'all later.